In this video, we're talking about the do's and don'ts of business communication. Specifically, we're talking about what to do when you're interacting with a potential client, when you're interacting with your team, when you're talking to potential customers. Oftentimes we can get in our own way, and I'm gonna help you stop making those mistakes and ultimately achieve success. First, we're talking about the don'ts. My guess is you're doing some of these things and you're not even aware of it. Then we're gonna jump into the do's, the things that you do wanna be doing and focused on. You can start implementing these today to start seeing massive results. Don't, number one, don't talk about yourself. This is a huge mistake I see people making, right? You're at that conference, you're excited because you're gonna be talking to the speakers, the other people in the audience, and it's full of your potential clients. And so you've practiced your elevator pitch, you know the stories to tell, and so you introduce yourself and you start running your mouth talking about yourself. Guess what? They don't care about you. They don't care at all about you. You know what they care about? Themselves. So why don't you start there? So instead of talking about yourself and going on and on and on about yourself, start asking them questions about them. What's so funny is if you stay focused on them and your mind's gonna be like, oh, jump in and tell him this story about you and how you solved that problem for somebody else. No, avoid all of that. Keep talking about them. You wanna know what naturally happens when you keep asking somebody questions about themselves? Immediately their mind says, hold on a second, who is this guy? Who am I talking to? What's his, where are these questions coming from? This is really interesting. He knows a lot about this topic, right? And they naturally become very curious about you. What happens in that scenario is now they are coming after you. It's totally different. If we go to the playground and you tell a boy to go chase a girl, what's gonna happen to that girl? She's gonna start running and running away. The same thing happens when you sit there and you talk about yourself. And yes, I know your intention is to help somebody and they need to know about you, and we'll get there. But when you start out by talking about yourself, you are having them run away from you in a sense. So don't talk about yourself. The other thing that we don't want to do is try and convince anybody of anything. When you're trying to convince people, it just doesn't work. Why is it not effective? Because when you're trying to convince somebody of a different point of view, a different perspective, they don't feel seen and heard and valued. So we start out by talking about them and actually listening to what they're saying. I was actually just speaking at a conference and I was talking to a guy who wants to make this huge investment in his business. His wife is not on board. And he said to me, Katie, I can't seem to convince her. And I said, that right there, that's getting in the way. So you wanna know what I told him to do? I said, stop trying to convince her and just listen to her. And that right there allowed things to shift and change in that conversation. So stop talking about yourself, stop trying to convince people, and step number 3, stop thinking that you have all of the answers. You don't have all of the answers, and you certainly don't have to pretend that you have all of the answers. That's the sign of a weak leader, honestly, to believe that you have to have all of the answers. You don't have all of the answers. In fact, if you have all of the answers, then what is the team for, right? That immediately disempowers your team. So stop believing that you have all of the answers and engage your team in helping you to find and discover and create the solutions that you need to. This is something that has honestly helped me be a really successful business coach. I know that I don't have to have all of the answers. In fact, the CEO has the answers, and my job and responsibility is to help extract that from him or her. And somebody was watching me coach at an event recently, and they said, Katie, I couldn't believe how people could throw anything at you and it didn't throw you off. You were always able to find a solution, find an answer. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't have to have all of the answers. And if you noticed, I was engaging with that individual to discover the answers together. So when we believe we have to have all of the answers, we immediately are disempowered because you can't have all of the answers. But when you show up curious about what the answer is, all of a sudden you can communicate effectively with your team. Now let's jump into the do's. Meaning, right now, I do want you to hit this like and subscribe button. Do it right now. Why? Because I got so much more to share with you. We're just scratching the surface of how I can help you achieve big goals and dreams inside of your business and life. Click and subscribe. So I've got 3 things that you do want to do, and we've kind of discussed some of them, right? The first is to listen. Really listen. Not pretending that you have all the answers, right? But really searching for the solution and the answers. So really understanding how to listen. And how do you do that? It's by step number 2, asking curiosity-based questions. Who's really good at this? 5-year-olds. They're really good. Why'd you do that? Mommy? Why this, Daddy? Right? They're very good. You know why? It's because they're not trying to lead anybody in any one direction. They're not attaching meaning to things. They're genuinely curious. So if you can watch your 3, 4, 5-year-old, notice that curiosity within them and bring that curiosity to your questions as you're engaging with the team, as you're communicating inside of your business. If you can bring these curiosity questions, it will really help you to effectively communicate, right? So for example, if somebody's messed something up, rather than just jumping down their throat and getting mad at them and pointing the finger and blaming, which you wouldn't be doing that, right? What we want to do is we want to jump in and ask curiosity questions like, so what is the real problem here? What's currently going on? And we're trying to assess the situation. Okay, I noticed you did this. Tell me why you did it that way. And help me understand why we communicate with this person before the other person, right? So we're trying to get a sense for what's going on before we make any sort of judgment or assessment. So we listen and then ask curiosity-based question. Now you might be thinking, Katie, you don't know how incompetent my warehouse guy is. Or Katie, you don't know how distracted my VA gets. And if I'm just gonna ask curiosity questions and believe that I don't have all of the answers, we're just gonna be like herding cats. And here's the thing, I know that my approach is different, and maybe the reason you're here is because your approach hasn't been working. So you don't have to determine whether or not this approach will work for you. My invitation to you right now would be, go test it out. Go try it on. Like when you go to Versace and you try on that really cool leather jacket, try it on. Go see if this listening and asking curiosity questions, go see if that helps you better communicate with your team. The third thing, and listen, there's not many people that would tell you this, but to me it's super important. The third thing is you've got to stay in integrity when you're talking with your business partner, when you're talking with customers and clients, when you're talking with your team. And I'll give a personal example. My physical products company, Pudge, we were developing this product. The whole objective when we even started this product was to design and manufacture something that could be on the market very quickly. I wanted a short turnaround time. Well, 2 years into the project and it still was not being shipped to my retailers. It was super frustrating, right? And so when you get in that kind of a situation, it's easy to start shortcutting and specifically to start doing things that are outside of integrity, either with you or the company. So this product that we'd been working on for 2 years that still was not on the market, they finally sent us the first several thousand units to ship, right? We had purchase orders waiting, people waiting to receive this product. We received the inventory and it still was not up to the quality and standards. Let me get a little more specific with you. This product was a sticker. A texturized sticker that goes on the bottom of your bathtub so that toddlers can be in the bathtub and not slip, but something that's not going to be growing mold and mildew, right? I have certain requirements and constraints that I utilize in designing. And it was a great product, right? But the actual product that they were delivering was not up to the quality standard. Basically, the adhesive was leaving residue when you eventually went to peel it off. And that was outside of the standard of quality that my customers had learned to expect from my brand. So I had to make a very difficult decision. Even though I had waiting customers and I had inventory that I could ship to people and just hope they didn't notice that I was outside of my quality standards, I made a difficult call and I made a decision to not ship the inventory yet. We had to go to the factories, we had to figure it out, but long story short, when we finally shipped, everybody loved the product. And honestly, it built trust between the customer and the brand. So stay within your integrity. Like this is a number one. I know it's number 3 in this list, but this is a number 1 do. Stay within integrity. It might mean some consequences on the short term, but long term, it builds tremendous trust between you, your team, your partners, your customers. It's just the right way to do business. Speaking of integrity, the reason that you're even watching these videos is because you can tell there's something different about what it is that I do. And oftentimes we can kind of be in this internal battle between our integrity and our values and trying to grow our business. And you see people who are taking shortcuts, who are doing deals under the table, who are doing things that are out of line. And you're kind of trapped in this battle between, is that how I have to play the game in order to be successful? And I'm here to tell you the answer is no. I can show you how to make it so obvious how to be successful within integrity and winning at the game of business and life. How can I help you do that? Your first step is to download my free guidebook. This is something that will help you understand who you must be to be successful in business. So often we're like, hey business coach, give me the tactics, the tricks, the hacks, the tools that I need to be doing. But you know what? It doesn't matter what tips, tricks, tactics I share with you, because if you are not who you need to be, the business will struggle. It will fail. The key to success in business is you. More than anything, it's you and who you are being. And I'm going to show you how to be the one who communicates powerfully with the team, the one who makes critical decisions under pressure, the one who creates alignment with your business partner or even your spouse. I'm going to show you how to do this. It's not as complicated as you might think it is, and you can get started right now. Click the link below, download the free guidebook right now. I'm Katie. See you in the next video.